Well, hello everyone and welcome to Dwarven Realms, a game that's free on Steam, so you could always jump in and play it anytime at no cost to you, which is really cool. So I've been playing it for about 3 hours now. I guess it's like more like 2.5, but it feels like 3 hours, because the way Steam tracks time is just kind of weird, I think. But I think the best way to explain this game would be that it's kind of like a third-person Diablo, without really any of the story bits and only combat, which is either going to be something that is going to be kind of something you are like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, I like that, or you're going to not like it because you or you're looking for a little bit more story substance. There are some quests, I guess, in the game, but they're not really quests. It's just they're almost like, well, I mean, they are technically quests, but they're like fetch quests. You don't really get anything out of it except for maybe some items or gear, and that's okay, but it's just not very worthwhile, because half the time the gear that you get's not really worth the effort with going and talking to somebody to turn in items. So that being said, you do have a variety of enemies depending on the world in which you are in, and by world I mean just zone is probably a better example. And as you play, you're going to run into all kinds of cool stuff. I've got these little artifacts and little items that I can use and equip and make my character a little bit more powerful. And then the goal is, of course, to, I don't know, kind of get to different places and level up, kill things. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to really talk about. I mean, I don't really know what to say other than, overall, it is pretty entertaining. I mean, I've been playing it for a while. It's, I've got a lot of other games that I'm going to be playing, so this is really just like a game that I jump in and I play for a while and then I move on. It's definitely a game that fits the category of, you know what, I don't know what I want to do today. I want to play something. I don't want to have to put a lot of, effort into anything. I just kind of want some quick rewards, and some very immediate gameplay satisfaction. And this game really fits that. So the AI is basically doesn't really exist. I mean, enemies, they have their typical attacks. They kind of come up on you, but they don't really do much. So it's not really like you're ever in a situation where you have to really think about what you're doing. Just run around and kill stuff as often as you want. Kill the elite enemies, kind of repeat the process. Depending on the weapons you're using will depend on what you will have for your special ability. And as you play and you level up your skills, you're going to gain different abilities that you can use, which is really good. And I think it's done really well. And that's a positive. And you have a horse, which is nice. Apparently my cat approves as well, so that's always a bonus. One thing I definitely really like about the game is you get a lot of experience from just kind of going through and doing stuff. So if you were gathering items, you're going to gain a little bit of experience. If you are picking up chests or just any of the variety of things that you can pick up in the game, you're going to get a little bit of experience. So you're always gaining progress experience, so it feels like you're always making progress, which is really nice. One thing, though, that I wish the game did better is I haven't been able to find health kits. I got some at some point, and I don't really know why I got them or what I did to get them, but I know that I can just... I never find them anymore. And I haven't been able to craft them, and I don't know if it's just something I'm just completely missing or what exactly is my problem there, but... But it is certainly a thing. You do need health occasionally if you go into an area where you're getting kind of like the crap beat out of you because you're not quite as high of a level or your items aren't very good. It just kind of happens. You never know what's going to happen. What is this, a spear? I have not used a spear, so I guess I will switch over to a spear. Um, there are a considerable amount of weapons and items that you will get. So you just got to kind of figure out which one it is that you want and then kind of go from there. Um, I personally like to try to take anything that's going to give me a larger chance of doing like special damage. It just works better, I think. I haven't used a spear at all, so I don't have any extra special moves. Range combat is something in the game that, man, I don't like the range combat at all. It's too slow. Like, I have a lot of arrows, but the combat is not very fun with that, so I don't really use it much because it's just not worth it. You can fast travel on the maps, which is nice. And you just kind of go through and collect some more stuff. I don't know that I have a favorite zone or anything that I've run into so far. I've been kind of slowly progressing through different areas just to kind of, run into everything I can. The stores, they kind of suck. Like, they're not awful, they're just not great. I mean, you can buy some items that you need. Oh, okay, finally I found somewhere that I can actually buy some healing potions. I can also buy like a bunch of these, like the Book of Knowledge. Let's just say I want to buy a lot of these because I have a lot of cash. I'll buy 97 of them. And now I have no cash. But what I can do with that is I can go over to the Scholar's desk, go to the research, and it's basically, it's not free experience because obviously I just had to spend some to get to it, but it's kind of free experience. And then you got your level up screen. I can level up some different things. I've been doing a lot of wisdom because it allows me to gain a little bit more experience than I would otherwise, which is nice. I can kind of level up a little bit faster. But there's some flexibility in what you're going to choose, which is nice. And I think there's like a pretty good variety of enemies too. I mean, like, here I am fighting alligators, and other places there's like a lot of other enemies that I've fought as well, which is pretty cool. So I think it's... yeah. Oh, okay, so I'm swimming. I wasn't expecting the swimming portion. That's kind of cool. It looks terrible, but it's cool that I'm swimming. It's just definitely not very good. I'm just very, very slowly going down. I guess it's a good time to point out that the game is in early access. Oh, you have to hold control to stay diving, otherwise you'll start to surface. I mean, I guess it makes you swim a little bit faster, so that's kind of beneficial, but that's just a weird kind of scenario to me. So there's some areas like this one where you go into an area and you have no map. So you just have to kind of guess where you're going, I guess. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it. Like I mean, everywhere you go, you're gonna run into different items or different things that you can use. So every area will have its own little items that can be used towards upgrading your equipment or building new equipment and doing a bunch of different stuff, which is all pretty cool and pretty useful to kind of help you move along into an area. I guess my suggestion, if I was to go back through and kind of really pay attention to what I was doing, is I would just play through a level until I have next to no difficulty with killing the enemies, and then I would start moving on to the next zone. But at the same time, I like to progress, so I'll find myself kind of moving through and trying to experience a little bit more to do, so I'm not like stuck in the same place. While combat is incredibly simple, it's actually really satisfying. World exploration, not as satisfying because it just kind of feels like I'm doing the same place. A lot of the level design of the worlds, it looks like I'm in the same place, but it just get like a slightly graphical difference. Dude, why are you blocking the tunnel? That being said, I think the areas, even though, you know, that overall they kind of look kind of similar, I think they are artistically very nicely designed. Now, where are we? We are in the Masadian Firelands. I guess I could do the Dirdirahi. Dirdirahi, I guess. I don't know. The only thing that sucks is like I never know when I'm going into an area if it's going to be something that is going to be a little bit more difficult or if it's just going to be kind of the same. And it seems like this area is not going to be difficult at all. So I don't know if I'll stay in it or if I'll leave. I'm trying to figure out how much experience I'm getting here. But I have so much stuff popping up on the screen that it's impossible for me to tell. But I don't know, I'm getting a decent amount, I think. Definitely getting some new items. That's always a good thing. A lot of gems. It's pretty cool. So yeah, it definitely satisfies that whole, like, I like picking up loot. I want to get a bunch of stuff aspect. It's really cool. Yeah, and it's definitely the kind of game that I can see myself loading it up and playing it. You know, an hour or two here and there every day, just to kind of play something that doesn't require me to really put a lot of thought into it. I can just come through and kind of shut my brain off for a while and kill stuff. It is multiplayer. There are other people playing. I have not run into a single person yet, and I don't know if I ever will. But there are other people who play this game, and that's pretty cool. I wish there was a little bit of music in the background, though. It's like one thing the game is missing. I guess I probably should check the settings. Maybe I have the music turned off. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm lost. Alright, south. There it is. Sometimes the mini-map doesn't actually show up, which is kind of weird. Enemies just pop out of nowhere. So I try not to focus on like the limitations of the game because I feel like there's enough here that it's at least a very solid foundation, especially considering it's like an early access title. It's completely free to play, um, and it's it's a lot of work to put into something that doesn't cost you anything. It is a bit of a passion project, from what I understand. So I mean, it's definitely one of those titles where when you hear that, you never know. Is it going to turn into like a full-time thing, or is this kind of what you're going to get? But with it being free, and with everything that there is to do so far in the game, I think you're definitely going to get some decent time out of it. You can easily pull a couple of hours before you start to hit like a moment where you're like, I've kind of played everything. I've done everything outside of maybe going into some new areas. I've kind of run through all the weapons. What's to keep me going? So I think you got definitely a couple hours before you hit that point, which is good. And because you have a couple hours before you hit that, I mean, you really don't have anything to lose. I would definitely recommend this to anybody who is a fan of games like Diablo, Grim Dawn, Dungeons of Sundaria, basically anything that is just kind of a mindless hack and slash game. I feel like this will really kind of appeal to you, and you'll have some fun with it. I know I have, and like I said, this is a game that I'm probably going to come back to and I'm going to play quite often, at least for a while, until some other things come along, because it's really nice to just have something that I can just jump into, turn my brain off, and, satisfyingly kill things. And with it's not really a leaderboard, I guess, but it's kind of like a leaderboard with the whole ability to see like what level everyone else is. It kind of gives you that push to try to level up your character, to try to be number one, I guess, on the server. But there is a pretty extensive skill tree, I mean, which you can kind of tell, knowing that there are people who are like level 500 and stuff like that. So, but I think that's a pretty good showing of the game itself. There are some crafting elements, but I don't personally think the crafting elements are very good, because you don't get anything of real value from crafting, so it's not something that makes a lot of sense to do. It is very simple though. I just come here, I find something I want to craft. I can craft all or a specific amount, craft it, and then I can use that for some other things. You can also craft all sorts of stuff, and then use that towards some of your other things. And that's going to kind of keep you going as well. Is there no... There's no scholars table here? Oh man, I wanted to like use that and get some free experience, level myself up. Oh well, I guess you can't. But anyway, so there you go. That is Dwarven Realms. Kind of a quick look at it, just kind of see if it's something that you might like. I personally really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's a very deep skill tree. Lots of different enemies to kill. Some pretty cool specials that you can get, and huge variety of equipment. And you can't really see it on my character just because of what I'm wearing right now, but and how the camera angle is. But you do change what you're looking like, and that's really always cool and exciting when you were trying to play a game like this, because it lets you kind of give yourself some pretty good character customization on what your character looks like when wearing armor. I will say that the character customization, otherwise, there's not really a lot to it. And apparently this pipe goes nowhere. So anyway, once again, that is Dwarven Realms. I enjoyed it. I'll maybe perhaps have more videos on YouTube for this at some point, but most likely this is going to be more of just a game that I just do as streaming. Here and there occasionally. But yeah, very enjoyable, lots of fun, recommended. As always, the link will be in the description, so if you like what you see, feel free to give the game a shot on Steam. Remember, it is free. As always, thanks for watching.